Hi, Veno here. Quantum existence, quantum knowledge, quantum insight, quantum seeing, quantum living. Here we're going to discuss the manifestation and design of and as the quantum dimensions of within and as the interdimensional and physical existence. And we'll be specifically looking at it in relation to how it existed in the past within the old system, and what it entails now for our physical practical process on and in Earth. The quantum design was connected to the manifestation of and as time, with time as the dispersing of the extent of vibration of and as the dimensional substance or material of and as existence as energy. So, to understand the quantum manifestation within and as existence, we first got to understand the structural manifestation of and as time within the existence of heaven and the unified consciousness field of and as Earth. Because the quantum manifestation formed part of this manifestation of and as time. Time that in the old system design was a system regulating the movement of and as knowledge and information through and as existence's primary construct that defined and formed it as energy. So let's start with time and energy, from where we'll establish a starting point to discuss the quantum design or manifestation within and as existence. Time. Time in itself is and can be an extensive point to investigate and discuss, as everything and everyone in this existence is interconnected to and with time. Through this interconnection to and with time, we've become time manifest, as we've accepted and allowed ourselves to become merged with and as the system of time, as it existed within and as the old system. So, even with the time system no more existing, we've become the living design thereof. Albeit not the exact same design, we're still subject to time as time and space, within and as this physical manifest existence. Time and space, which will also be discussed in relation to its curse and gift, so to speak, where it can become our life or death depending on who we are within and as this point as time. So, to specify, here we'll only be discussing time within the context of its structural design or manifestation within and as existence. So we'll only be looking at the mechanics of time within the context of existence as a whole, so as to get a better understanding or grasp of the quantum design or manifestation, which is what we're specifically discussing in this particular interview. Because, understand, the manifestation or design of time, as with all the enslavement structures and systems that were rife within and as existence to ensure control, was transformed, shaped, and remolded to fit into and with all particular specific enslavement systems and constructs, and would so change the design structure of and as time depending on the system and or construct it was utilized for to control the movement of and as knowledge and information. And so, there existed various types of time systems with various purposed or programmed designs, but its primary function was always the same, controlling the movement of knowledge and information through and as energy. Alright, let us continue looking at the mechanics, the structural design of and as time in and as the context of and as existence. But again here, before we get to the structural design of and as time, we require going deeper into the primary structural design of and as energy within and as the context of and as existence, because time within and as the context of and as existence was created through and as energy. Thus, we'll first start with looking at the origins of energy within and as the context of and as existence, from where the structural design and manifestation of and as time will emerge, and so the existence or creation of and as quantum time, from where quantum existence, quantum knowledge, quantum insight, quantum seeing, quantum living emerged. For this, I'll bring Marduk to explain the creation of energy within and as this existence. Hi, this is Marduk. Veno is more than capable to explain the creation of energy from existence. As in the portal, everything is here, equal and one. Though it does become more interesting in hearing the creation of a design from the creator itself. And in this case of energy, from its structural design origin, the creator would be me. Let's continue. In the old system, the substance that connected everything within and as that system was energy. Energy was the substance that permeated, infiltrated all of this existence that was controlled as the old system, which was heaven and earth. And it was the substance of and as energy through and as which everything and everyone was controlled into and as enslavement within and between heaven and earth. This energy substance's source manifestation, as what it consisted of and existed as at its source point, was pure vibration. So everything was vibration within and as the manifested existence of and as heaven and earth, that was controlled through as and by energy as vibration, as the structural design or structural substance of and as energy. In the old system, the vibrations of and from matter, of and as existence, manifested the substance of and as energy. Energy, which is vibrations of and from matter, not matter itself, but vibrations of and from matter itself, that from the vibrations resonated a resonance which we experience as energy. So, the experience of energy is the resonance of the vibrations. Vibrations as the structural manifestation or design of energy. And the manifestation of energy as its structural design or manifestation is the vibrations that create the resonance as experience of and as energy. So, in the creation of energy from matter, which I, Marduk, was involved in, I utilized a frequency system that pulled matter towards itself. I hooked frequency hooks into matter itself, pulled matter linearly towards itself from two different parts, the two different parts that would come to be known as poles. And in pulling the two separate parts hooked with frequency hooks toward each other, I'd centralized the meeting of matter from two different parts at one point. And that centralizing process towards that one point where the two parts start merging in and as that one point would manifest vibrations as literal folds of and as matter itself. And those folds of and as matter would vibrate due to compression of and as matter, and would emit a resonance that we experience as energy. The true color of and as the vibrations that manifested from the compression of and as matter as the folds was sharp white. And the resonance that emitted, that was experienced as energy, would color in variations dependent on the intensity of the vibrations and the extent of compression. And this is how vibration and so how energy came to be. So let's pull it apart more specifically, tangibly, and walk through it again. Let's start with what I refer to as matter. Again, this matter I speak of is not the actual real matter that matters, within existence as the physical substance of the manifestation of life. No. The matter I mentioned before was the matter that was existence before the creation of heaven and earth, of, as, and through energy which was created from this matter. This matter as the substance of and as sound resonance or sound presence, which was like a solid liquid substance, which was the base substance of and as which the dimensionality of and as existence consisted of and existed as. I'd experiment and or play with this substance of and as me and existence, and in enduring my experimentations and plays, develop the way to manipulate this substance of and as me and existence. Manipulate meaning having the ability to change and or alter it at will. This came about with me experimenting with frequency strands on myself, whereby I realized that when the frequency strands touched me as sound resonance substance, it would actually affect the sound resonance substance in creating like a structural solidity within that moment of impact. A structural solidity whereby the frequency strand and the sound resonance substance would connect and remain connected as long as I kept the strand there. And in that connection, I realized that I could move substance itself into and as any direction I wanted to, as long as the frequency strand remained interconnected to and with it, as in touching it. The frequency strands I developed was manifestations of and as heightened or intensified sounds. Sounds itself that I compressed into a space, and in that space compression of sounds itself would substantiate sounds. And in that sound substantiation would create frequency, because as the sounds substantiate, they become like thicker strands of sounds, and would manifest sounds more intensely, making sounds more heightened, and in that process would manifest frequency as sound frequencies. Obviously, there exist various forms of frequency: sound frequency, vibration frequency, energy frequency, etc. The structural design or manifestation of frequency at its core base foundation exist in the form of intensifying a substance, and in that intensification thereof, manifesting the frequency of it, the substantiation of a substance into a heightened or more compacted form. So, you can manifest sound frequency as the intensification of sounds, through substantiating sounds, through compacting them and creating a heightened or more intense form of sound. The same with energy. Manifesting energy frequency as the intensification of vibrations, through substantiating vibrations, through compacting them and creating a heightened or more intense form of vibration as energy. So, as you can see, one can develop or create various forms of frequency dependent on the substance you utilize. Let us continue with how I manipulated matter. So, the frequency strands was able to affect, change the movement, the direction of and as matter itself, primarily because of and due to the essence of the frequency strands and matter being the same as sound. But the frequency strand sound was more intense, more substantiated, and so could affect or change the sound resonance of and as matter through altering its direction. And this is how I was able to move matter, the substance of me and existence at that stage, as manifested sound resonance. The exact nature of the matter of existence as sound resonance, so as with the nature of all manifested substances, I will and can discuss within interviews with me personally to come, in exploring the structuralism of and as existence manifest throughout time. However, here, we first focus on a part of an as time, as quantum time, and the substance as what time consisted of and existed as energy. Let us continue. With that effect that came about as the meeting of two different forms or manifestations of and as the same substance, I continued experimenting, which led to the finding of hooking the frequency strands into an as matter and pulling the two different points of and within matter towards itself, which created folds in an as matter itself, folds that vibrated, and in that vibration emitting a resonance as an experience that is known as energy. Obviously, again, here, there exist different forms and manifestations of an as energy. Mind consciousness system energy is a different form or manifestation of an as energy, as this energy from and of matter that I'm now explaining the structural design or manifestation of. Yet the essence of and as all energy as consisting of and existing as vibratory substance is exactly the same. So for the moment, we'll focus on the energy creation from and of matter that became the substance through and as which the existence of and as heaven and earth was controlled, in and as the design of and as time. So the moment the frequency strands came into contact with matter, it set off a ripple effect through and as matter itself, but eventually would fade away. So the moment I took two frequency strands, manifesting them within two different parts and moving them closer together horizontally within a linear direction, the ripple effects of and from the 2 points would interconnect, and it would be those ripple effects that substantiate the folds of and as matter itself, in keeping the folds into an as manifestation, as keeping the vibrations as folds into an as vibration, and so the continuation of the emittance of and as the resonance from and of the vibrations as energy. And so here, a more specific tangible walkthrough in relation to the components or parts and sources that played a role in the creation of the energy that would make up the platform of and as the existence of and within heaven and earth, and through and as which beings within and as heaven and earth would be controlled through the system of time of and as energy as follows. Alright, so with the advent of the creation of heaven and earth, the easiest way or method to maintain control over and of something and or someone is creating a closed system, a domain, within and as which you can control the entirety and all and everything within and as that closed system or domain, which is exactly what we did within the creation of heaven and earth. We created domains of and as heaven and earth, within and as which we had total control through the substance of and as energy that substantiated those domains. Thus, we enclosed everything and everyone that constituted the existence of and as heaven and earth into and as domains consisting of and existing as the substance of and as energy, over and of which we had total control. Thus, in being able to control energy, we controlled everything and everyone within and of that energy, and so a total control of the entirety of the domains of and as heaven and earth. Fascinating how humanity now face the exact same situation. The earth domain is controlled through money. A handful have the control of money and so control the earth, equal to and one with how we as a handful controlled the energy within the existence of heaven and earth, and so had control over and of heaven and earth. As above, so below. Alright, let's continue with the structural design of and as above and below in and as the old system to get to the creation of time, and so quantum time, to get to the explanation of quantum knowledge, quantum insight, quantum living, and what that in fact was and now is or will be. So we created the energy within the domains of heaven and earth that would manifest the substance through and as which beings would be controlled. This was done through me existensifying my experiment with the frequency strands and implementing it onto and in an existential level. I took 2 frequency strands within different parts of the matter of within and as the domains we created as heaven and earth, pulled them together, creating existential folds within and as the domains respectively, and so creating the vibration substance of and as and within the domains of heaven and earth, as the folds of within and as matter that was created due to the compression of and as matter, exactly as I had done with and on myself, though here on an existential or greater scale. Understand, we created many such existential domain designs within and as the domains of and as heaven and earth, through utilizing matter, vibration, frequency, sound, whatever was here or what was created from and of here was utilized. This domain energy of and as heaven and earth is but one dimension, as one layer, as one substance that was created and used for the purpose of control, for enslavement, one of many. Alright, now we finally get to the design of time, and what time is within the context of the platform or base level of and as existence. As we've stated, there was many time designs. Here, at this stage, we're discussing the design of time as its structural design within and as existence at the platform or base level of and as existence, to get to the explanation of quantum time and everything that goes with it. Let's continue. So, with the manifested vibrations as the folds of and as matter within the domains of heaven and earth respectively, emanating the resonance within and throughout the domains of heaven and earth, it created the energy of within and as heaven and earth. An energy that was contained through a magnetic strip that was surrounded and enclosed the domains of heaven and earth within and as themselves. So each domain contained its 2 poles within itself that was pulled toward each other, creating folds in matter that was held together through the constant continuous ripple effects, and the magnetic strip that was containing the energy created from and of the vibrations as the folds in matter. Thus, the platform for and of energy as manifested vibrations was created within and as heaven and earth. Now, various factors. I won't be going into them specifically at this stage because this is an interview or interviews in itself. Various factors contributed to what led to the solidifying of the earth domain into and as physical manifestation, separating the heaven domain into and as a dimensional manifestation. However, even though in the old system heaven and earth became so separate in terms of physicality and dimensionality, the essence of the substance that it consisted of and existed as manifested vibrations emitting resonance as energy, was still equal. So, how the control came about through time, from and of energy, as controlling the movement of and as knowledge and information, is as follows. One of the factors playing a role in the manifested separation between the domains of heaven and earth was the control of the vibrations within the domains of heaven and earth. Within the domain of heaven, the vibrations were designed to vibrate within its natural state of compression. So, with pulling two parts as poles of matter together, creating folds, the parts will pull together to create folds of and as vibrations that would vibrate at a frequency or extent that would emit a resonance to the extent where the resonance as energy would form a substance in itself, but not to a solid substance. A substance that could and would still permeate and infiltrate any manifested form within and as existence. With the natural and or pure state of and as vibration forming eventually part of the white light that would become the God of and as heaven, the God as natural state of and as heaven as energy. And within the earth domain, or the domain of earth, the vibrations were designed to vibrate within its cyclic state of compression, where what we did was periodically impulse the domain of and as earth through pulling together and then releasing, and pulling together and then releasing the two parts as poles of the domain. Through the impulsing that manifested within the domain of earth as a whole, the resonance of and as the vibrations as energy started impulsing equal to and one with the impulse of the domain as a whole, wherein all parts, big and small, within and as the domain of and as earth, was eventually impulsing, which became equal to and one with the impulse of and as the heartbeat as the heart of the physical, equal to and one with the earth domain's impulse that became the heartbeat of earth. We were thus able to regulate the compression and release through pulling together and pulling apart the two parts as poles within the frequency strands, as the manifestation of the pulse of the earth domain and everything and all else within it. And it was through regulating, controlling the compression and release period within and as the earth domain as a whole that created, designed, and manifested the concept of and as time within and as the earth domain as a whole, where we could have races, movements, events, people play out within outflows of time, as in controlling the period or extent within which things moved within and as the earth domain. From the greater and the smaller, we had absolute control within as and of it all, within guiding and regulating the movement of and as knowledge and information, as manifested within and as the mind consciousness systems of and as human beings through pulsing the energy substance, in regulating, controlling the compression and release period within parts or all parts of and as the earth domain, and could so have things either move really slow or really fast within and as the earth domain. Whereas within the heaven domain, time was constant and eternal. There was no impulsing or regulating, controlling the movement of information and knowledge through a mind consciousness system or unified consciousness field, as we did within and as earth. In heaven, all knowledge and information was manifested within and as the resonant energy itself. The knowledge and information wasn't contained within and as individual mind consciousness systems within an impulse regulator controlling the movement of knowledge and information within the minds of humans and the world of the system. So in heaven, all knowledge and information of and as heaven was immediately, instantaneously available here, as all dimensional beings was equal to and one with the substance or resonance of the energy. And because of this equality, they were always equal to and one with the knowledge and information that was here as and in themselves, and could so immediately, instantaneously access everything and anything within heaven from the energy resonance substance. Obviously, this was controlled. Beings in heaven was also impulsed with systems to control their access to and movement of and within all the knowledge and information readily available to them in an instant. But this discussion walks more down the path of the enslavement designs or manifestations within existence of and as heaven and earth, which will be discussed in interviews to come. On earth, as we've stated, all knowledge and information was controlled through impulsing mechanisms or systems, regulating the movement of energy as knowledge and information through systems such as the mind consciousness system and the unified consciousness field, where beings only had access to the knowledge and information as energy that was programmed into their pre-programmed mind consciousness systems as conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. And so what knowledge and information human beings had access to was absolutely controlled. So understand, all knowledge and information within, as, and of the existence of heaven and earth was here, within and as the energy that was created from within and of the domains of matter that manifested heaven and earth. This was so because the energy was the primary substance from which the manifestations of systems was created, such as the mind consciousness system, the unified consciousness field for the earth domain, and also systems of heaven, such as some of the angel groups that were actually not real individual beings as angels, but being created from the energy of and as the heaven domain to function as guards for the domain of earth. Thus, the energy resonance that permeated and infiltrated the foundations, the sources of heaven and earth, was the substance that contained all knowledge and information of the domains of heaven and earth, respectively. So, in Earth's domain, Earth's primary source of and as energy resonance contained all knowledge and information of and as Earth's total system, from the unified consciousness field to the mind consciousness system. Earth's primary source of and as energy was the substance that permeated and infiltrated the totality and entirety of all and everything within and of the earth. And because of this omnipresence of and as the energy itself, it contained all the knowledge and information of and as everything that made up the system of earth. And so in heaven it was the same. Heaven's primary source of and as energy was the substance that permeated and infiltrated the totality and entirety of all and everything within and as heaven. And because of this omnipresence of and as energy, it contained all the knowledge and information of and as everything that made up heaven. Now that we have the background regarding time and the creation of time through energy within the domains of heaven and earth, through the impulsing of the poles and the control of the movement of knowledge and information through energy with time, we can finally get to quantum time. Quantum refers to immediacy, the immediacy of access to and as knowledge and information, and also the extent of that knowledge and information one so immediately has access to in an instant. So quantum time is what we existed as and within in the interdimensional dimensional existence as heaven, because we immediately in an instant had or could have access to all knowledge and information that was here. In this, quantum time as the resonant substance of and as the energy of and as the dimensional existence of and as heaven also gave us the ability, the power to change form, speed, and location at will, as we were not subject to the compression as impulsing of and as energy that was manifesting time through space as cycles. And we could so change, mold, and shape ourselves in the dimensions at will, not being subject to solidity as physical manifested form. So all concepts such as quantum time, quantum knowledge, quantum living, primarily originate from and of the quantum existence of and as heaven, where everything was immediate and instantaneous. There was no concept of time, as in on earth, with waiting for cycles and or sequences to complete themselves, as we've regulated the compression and release of energy as knowledge and information, and so controlled the movement as sequences, as cycles, in, through, and as which things move. So, for example, in quantum time as the dimensional existence, we could immediately access the knowledge and information of each other in an instant. Whereas on Earth, the only knowledge and information you have is about yourself. Access to others' knowledge and information has to go through sequences and cycles, which takes an extended period called time, and thus is not immediate or instantaneous, but takes time to accumulate the knowledge and information. On and from Earth, through the mind consciousness system, it was possible to access the nature of quantum reality as quantum knowledge within quantum time. This access could be done through accessing the unified consciousness field of the Earth domain through the unconscious mind, and tapping into the quantum time nature of and as the energy resonance of within and as the Earth domain that was manifested within and as the unified consciousness field. The unified consciousness field was the Earth system's unifying system that contained all knowledge and information of and from the Earth domain, as the unified consciousness field was one of the systems which was created from the Earth domain's primary resonance energy. And so, the unified consciousness field was a structural field of energy that permeated and infiltrated all the systems that made up the Earth domain. So, the access to such energy was severely limited, as it contained all the primary building blocks of the Earth reality as the mind consciousness system and unified consciousness field programming, to name but literally a few. So, obviously, we did not allow beings to have access to such power. And if beings ever did get access to it for some or other reason, such as glitches or faults or shifts in their mind consciousness system and or pre-programming, they'd, for example, be directed to become seers or prophets, where we'd shape their mind consciousness system to have limited access to the energy source of quantum time, and have them only have access to the pre-programming designs within the energy resonance of and as quantum time of the Earth domain. And so they'd be able to lay out the pre-programming already existent within personal lives or the Earth life as a whole, which for human beings was like predicting the future, a future they didn't know was already pre-planned and existent. Anyway, so here the manifestation and existence as quantum time within the heaven domain and the Earth domain, and what it in fact mean as immediacy of access to knowledge and information as the energy resonance of and as the domains of heaven and earth. So now, what is quantum time within existence at this stage, with the changes that has been made throughout existence, with the collapse of the energy system that governed, controlled the domains of and as heaven and earth, and so manifested the end of the interdimensional dimensional existence as heaven? For this, I, Marduk, will leave you to Veno to continue. Thank you. Hi, Veno here again. Let's have a look at what quantum time now consists of and exists as the nature of and as quantum time, and access to quantum knowledge or living, and all that is quantum in the nature of immediacy or instancy. Understand, even with the removal, the non-existence of and as the energy resonance manifestations of within and as heaven and earth, as heaven itself and the unified consciousness field of earth, for example, does not mean quantum time and all that constituted or made up quantum time no more exist. Have a look. Everything still does vibrate within existence, but the vibration substance is not the same as it was within the old system. Vibration within the old system was due to and because of the manipulation of matter to create energy. Vibration now is the experience of and as presence, as sound within and as existence. So it's no more the vibration of and as system creations, but vibration as experience of and as sound. So we've in essence returned to sound resonance, the origin, substance or source that was here as us before the creation of energy within and through which everything and everyone was controlled and enslaved. Though understand, this does not mean energy do not exist. Unfortunately, even though the systems of energy no more exist, we have become the very manifestations of and as energy, due to and because of our acceptance and allowance in becoming the mind consciousness system in as and through the physical. So we've got quite a process to walk in transcending ourselves as energy, as the mind consciousness system, returning back to our origins of and as sound resonance, to have a platform from which to re-emerge in and as the physical as life. So we've got to walk through our origins as energy, as the mind consciousness system, our origins as resonance, as the sound resonance of dimensionality we initially as beings consisted of and existed as. And from there, re-establish ourselves into and as actual physical reality to become real, and not only end or cease to exist as an energy or resonance, but become physicality, substantiating ourselves as life. So in this all, quantum time still exists as the here, of, as, and within breath, as the equality and oneness with and as the physical, where quantum time is no more linked to or connected to or consisting of and existing as pure knowledge and information of and as energy, but is the ability to, within self-awareness, compress one's own process in walking here in actual, immediate, instantaneous living correction of and as oneself in and as the physical, as walking a quantum process. This, we're obviously assisting and supporting everyone to be able to do equal and one, through the process of writing, blogging, flogging, within the application and living of self-forgiveness within self-honesty. To walk through the cycles, time loops as layers of mind, of energy, and get into the quantum reality of here in the physical, to get into immediate, instantaneous, practical living in changing self and the world as self in one breath. Let go of quantum knowledge that has no value or worth, but for ego and intellect of superiority of mind. Get into quantum living, in walking with and as the immediacy of breath for instant self-change, within the principle of equality and oneness as what's best for all. Through starting walking the process of writing yourself to freedom, self-forgiveness, self-honesty, blogging, flogging, all the tools that is here within as destiny. And so, for all, to be or become equal and one in and as quantum living, as immediate expression of self here, in and as the principle of and as equality and oneness as what's best for all. Join us. Let's change the world.